Man, so I really wanted to just come on YouTube with 3 days left to count down and just go over some older videos that I had. I wanted to start doing more lives because the premiere of From happens on September 22nd, and I definitely want to be able to go live when that goes live. And so I feel like there's a lot of things that I could go over and talk about, but right now, I think one of the most important things is to kind of plug the YouTube page and the Twitter page and the Facebook page, because apparently a lot of people are thinking I have a new page. I've had my YouTube channel out for a long time. I'm one of the first from streamers, and I started following the show for nothing more than it just being a great show. And so, yeah, I think it's great. People starting to come in a little bit. If not, you guys can watch it on the replay, but this is my Facebook page, The Movie Guru. You guys can check it out. I've been posting pretty consistently. I do a lot of other things besides just from. If you guys know, Netflix just had streamed their Geeked Week. So I got a couple posts from there about some anime that's coming out. And also, there's 3 days, 3 days until from. So I've been releasing videos and interviews and doing trivia. So last week I partnered with the movie blog, and we did a From Jeopardy trivia. This week I'm bringing it back. So definitely you guys can check that out. Yeah. And I think that was a lot of fun, especially because everybody's a trivia expert. But here we go. Also, this week, they're having a pancake premiere party on the From, I guess, Instagram, the From Facebook page. So what they're saying is Sunday, when the premiere comes out, post pictures of your pancake is a pancake party. And so I think that would be a lot of fun. And then I also posted my interview with Elizabeth Moy, who plays Tien Chen, and I actually interviewed her ahead of season 3 premiere this Sunday. So that's on my YouTube. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through some of my social media. I'm gonna go through what the From is offering on their page, and then I'm gonna play my interview, and then I'm also gonna go into some of the From content. So let's see what From posted this week. Let's see.
Scott, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. So, look, having seen the first few episodes of season 3, I have to say it feels like, my personal opinion, it feels like it's a descent into the next circle of hell, if you will, right? The feelings of hopelessness run rampant.
Right.
The stakes are arguably higher. So, through it all, what is it that motivates Boyd to keep fighting?
I'll tell you. I was telling some people this. I don't always tell people the things that I put in my head, but I think that this is relevant about Boyd. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a military man who has been in he's been in a lot of war. Like that's a lot of his life, and he said, when you go into those situations, you go into them thinking like, this is how it ends. Either we're all dead or you're all dead. That's it. Those are the two choices. And I added that to how I feel about Boyd. And so for me, Boyd will keep going and going until they're all dead or he's done. And so that's what I think about, like how he, that's how I've placed him in my head. And that's how he's going to run through this season, and if we have a next one, and throughout, if I get to play him that long.
Boyd, in every season he's made tough decisions, but particularly in this season, there's a big tough decision he has to make, and he has to live with the aftermath of it. How do you think guilt influences Boyd's relationships with those around him?
I think, wow, these are good. Those are good questions. I think, and we talk about it actually a lot when we get a new episode or get a new scene, like how much is that still part of what goes on? And what's really great is that in the writing, sometimes you just don't, the character just doesn't have time to consider his own guilt. Like, because the very next horror is right there and present.
Right.
Do you know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the moment, he has to figure that out. And so, while I believe that he has a lot of guilt, and during the daytimes when they have a little bit of space, sometimes to talk about it, I think he tries to, to deal with it. He did a lot in season 2. With Kenny's mom and with some other people, like he tried to deal with it. And, but I think that it winds up being, he just never has time for guilt, because the very next horror is the next nightfall.
Right. And literally life or death. Right. So going into that, we kind of, Boyd says that he's not going to be broken, right?
Right.
But we're starting to see some cracks maybe this season. How do you think Boyd's sense of self has evolved since the pilot?
Oh, I think he's a doubting Thomas. Like he's trying, but the town is really just playing with him, like playing with his food, right? Because it's one of those really cool things about the show, that the monsters don't ever run because they don't have to, right? And you would think, like, get rid of Boyd, get rid of him quick because he's going to be a problem, but they don't have to. They can play as long as they want, and that's literally what they're doing. And so I think he's really at the end of his rope. I think if he could explode, he'd just be a pile of blood and bones. But he's got to keep trying. He's got to keep going. So
I mean, that's a perfect lead into my next question, which is, what do you think are some of the most significant hurdles that Boyd faces this season?
Oh, without giving anything away,
right? Spoiler free.
Yeah. Right. Like he's got, some of the hurdles are he's made choices that have led to real tragedy, and so exactly what we were just talking about. He's got to deal with those choices and then make more choices as they're coming along, and that really screws with his head the whole time, like the whole time. And then, and that's exactly the problem. Because once you start to second guess, you start making more mistakes, but he doesn't have a choice but to second guess, because they're really screwing with him. They're like the biggest bully, just poking him. Over.
So, external threats aside, what scares Boyd the most?
I think if he's not able to get his son out of there, I think that is at least that's the way I see it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think he even cares if he gets out of there, but if he can't get Ellis out of there, I think if they were trying to break him, that would do it. I think I could be completely wrong about that, but
I was going to say, if his son wasn't in the picture, I mean, do you think he would still be as vigilant in being the protector of those people?
Yeah, I hope that he would. I hope that his, like the thing I was saying, either I'm dead or you're dead. I hope that kicks in, but I think that would open a crack in his soul that would be insurmountable. At least that's the way I'm playing him. Do you know what I mean? That's how much he loves that kid.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. I mean, Harold, that is all I have. That was incredibly informative as a fan of the show. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks for checking it out, and thanks for watching the beginning of season 3. Those are great questions, and
I appreciate it.
It gets worse anyway.
Oh God! I was gonna say, can't we get some wins soon? please?
Nope.
No.
No, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Scott. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks so much, Harold.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Wow. I saw that come up earlier, and I wanted to watch, the interview with Boyd, because Boyd is always a great actor. So I guess some people just haven't seen his normal personality. I mean, he's cool. I mean, he's a big actor. I mean, he was in, Best Man 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they got. He was in the first season of Z Nation. I mean, he does a great job acting. I just think a lot of people haven't seen him. Plus, you got to understand some of these interviews are kind of awkward, right? Like, it's probably a round table. He probably talked to like 10, 15, or even 20 people for 5 minutes each. And sometimes that first, when they first get on camera and they first have an interaction, it's a little awkward, what I'm saying, just finding the rhythm in the conversation. I mean, it happens a lot. It's happened to me before doing interviews. And so you never know. And speaking of interviews, I kind of wanted to get into my interview that I just did with Tien Chen. I put this out here on my YouTube. A lot of you guys watched it. Thank you guys for all the views so
Mucinex
far.
night shift fights your worst nighttime symptom.
Let's get into it, because I mean, look, this is possibly what we all been thinking, right? We've been thinking like who who dies season one, who dies this season. So I wanted to talk to Tien Chen, Elizabeth Moy, and see what she thought, and see who she thought passed away. So let's see. Let's get to the interview.
But things are really how they seem. Like a dream.
It was an ambush.
How many did you save?
Just
And you lost.
So the only way we go home.
How's everybody doing? My name is the Movie Guru, and today we are blessed to have a very, very special guest on the Movie Guru show. Please help me welcome Elizabeth Moy.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, it is great to talk to you. You are probably the last cast member I have to talk to on my list, right? Of my favorite characters on the show that I just wanted to speak to and talk about. I put some pictures here behind me of what I thought were some of my favorite moments of your character. It just really just developed into this person that you watch every week, and you're like, the person just gets more and more interesting and has more and more of a bigger role. So can you talk a little bit about just your experience in playing Tien Chen?
I love Tien Chen, and I, keep telling John, the writer, even though he didn't know me when he wrote Tien Chen, I feel like he's writing my life. And there's so much about Tien Chen that is either my part of my life, or I've seen it, or I experience it, or, it's part of my parents' life. So it's amazing that I get to be able to bring her to life. And I'm just so fortunate, and I'm so grateful for all of you and all the few viewers to support and to be connected with Tien Chen. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. You are that character, and that character is you. And then also, I don't know if you know, you're also all our moms too, right? I mean, the comfort that you give, just on screen, we can really feel that, when you come through, just the little things that you do or the way you say things. So it's amazing to watch you. But I do have one question though.
Mm-hmm.
How are you cooking all that food? Right? Pancakes.
Isn't that amazing? That's why I spend so much time in the diner, right? So and then, she's just so multitask.
Yeah.
Right? She can do a lot of stuff, and then she can still go out and have fun and play. And she's my model.
Yeah. I mean, we laugh and joke about just Tien pulling out the pancakes, and this making all the food. I don't know. You probably seen a couple memes out there just about Tien's kitchen, and it has definitely been interesting to see what you were going to bring out next. And I always point out this picture here behind me where they had, but you gotta make do it from Bill, right? And we love the ingenuity. And we love the ingenuity in front of the diner and then behind the diner because what the fans on YouTube have come up with is that Tien is one of the most important characters on the show. Some of
Oh,
the biggest revelations came from the diner, right? I mean, from the symbol, right? From things going on with Sarah, from you showing the book to Jade, right? And so, what was one of your favorite moments from either season 1 or season 2?
Oh, you know what? I have so many moments that I love and I like. Um, uh, it's so hard to pick just one,
There's one.
but I would have top 3 would be the scene where I told Jay not to complain.
Mm-hmm. No, that
That's
was.
that's one of my top.
He
And
hasn't complained since then. You know that, right?
I know. It just, he's like a child. He wants to, see how far he can push.
Mm-hmm.
And Ten Chen is just, what, this is it, right? And you can't cross that. And so I think he gets it. And so him and Ten Chen are very much good for each other.
Yeah.
And then there's another scene that it's heavier. It's probably the one I told Sarah how she took things away from me and still be able to, because that scene it's portray two opposite ends, like Pin Chan has deep love for her, but also there's so much pain that she created that just there's no meeting point anymore. So that makes that relationship very interesting. And I think I must have to say another one that I really like is the one with Harold, when he was trying to explain to me why he kept the secret about Sarah from me. So even though I don't think I have any dialogue in that scene, but there's a lot of emotion that went on, and I just love that interaction with Harold.
Yeah, those were definitely some top tier scenes, and I think that's one thing that the fans have really gravitated to, just those moments, right? Like you said, there wasn't much dialogue, but we could feel it, we could see it, and it was just like, we felt it coming from the chemistry that you guys have on the cast and on screen. So yeah, that's great. And so we do a lot of theorizing as well on my channel, right? And there's been some theories about you too. I don't know what about your character, that she sometimes might know just a little bit more than she puts on, right? Like you said some things with Jade. I mean, she literally flicked the light bulb on, right? And that changed the direction of the entire town, right? Whether the diner is open, and I'm sure what's on the menu can change everybody's mood, right? And so just how does it feel, and what type of preparation do you have to go into, playing that type of role that has so much, I guess, influence?
That's a good question. I think I approach all my scenes very, shall I say, thoroughly. I'm actually an overthinker, and pretty much, a lot of my scenes, I prep to the T, and but what I learned on set is even though I prepare all the scene to the T and with the I dotted and stuff, but I still have to be open to see what the director wants and to see what the direction what direction the notes will be. So I've learned that, and it's I think in all the scenes there's either we physically, I have to prep to see, where everything is. And then also emotionally, I have to prep all my emotion to cover all my grounds. And so that, on set, when I'm on the set and when the things are, because then things are placed differently, right? From my practice. So I just have to, see where everything is and have it in my mind. And there's one scene, I know that this is not the scene that you were talking about, but there's one scene where I think Sarah already disappeared. He already killed off people and he disappeared. She disappeared, and I was in the diner with I don't remember which one now, with some of Kenny and maybe with some of the kids. And I was folding her apron. And I remember when, in my preparation, I already know that, there's a certain way that Tin Chen would fold. And so once I get on set, I make sure that I do that repeatedly before I shoot the scene, that it's in my body, it's in my blood, it's in my vein, how I do certain things. Because in real life, I'm a OCD. I truly am OCD. There's room for everything, and there's a way to fold things, right? And so I just have to make sure I go through all that before we shoot.
Yeah, so that was the interview I just did last week, and that was part one. I got part two coming out Sunday. Uh, I believe the premiere of From is at 4 p.m. On Sunday, so you guys can check that out. And let's see, I wanted to go back and maybe do a couple other videos that I had of interviews. I think it's time. I got a lot of From content, and I know a lot of people have been, finding out videos on my page, but it seems like a lot of people is just finding out about my page. But my From content literally goes back to when the show was on Epics. Now that's a minute ago, and so I got a lot of theories. I got a lot of videos, and so what does it say? Yes, the showrunners are ever going to explain that. I feel like season 3 will get answers, but in a confused way. Of course, they gotta give us the breadcrumbs. They gotta lead us just a little bit at a time. So yeah, I agree. They're not going to tell us everything, but and so I want to go to this interview I did with his name is Jamie Maguire. You guys might know him. Which creature is your favorite?
On the first few episodes, but there's Smiley, this guy that just has these amazing features, and he just smiles, and he's like the creepiest smile ever, because he just needs to smile and he doesn't need the whole prosthetic thing to be terrifying. He's terrifying.
Hello, everyone. My name is the Movie Guru, and we have the Smiley Monster himself today, Jamie Maguire. How are you, sir?
I'm perfect. How about yourself?
I'm doing really, really good. I'm enjoying every episode of From and enjoying your performances. And I mean, I just want to say you've been taking the internet by storm. A lot of praise and a lot of good critiques. And I think we can safely say you have really made this show and took it up a notch. So how does it feel?
It feels amazing. I never would have expected the feedback that I've been receiving. I've loved every single day I was on set with From. When it was time for me to join the From Facebook groups, I'm like, hey, you know what? It was a fun show to be on. Why don't I just see how it looks? Next thing I know, I see my picture almost everywhere with memes and quotes and just like freaking people out. It's like, oh geez, who is this guy? It's like, why is he so freaky? It's like, is that how he actually looks? Or it's just
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's been exciting for sure.
I kind of wanted to ask, was that always the intentions? Like I know at first, just reading the IMDb, you were sort of credited as Creature 3, and now you seemingly a big part of the show. Was that always the plan, or did it kind of go back and bring you up?
No, at season 1, I actually started as a background creature.
Ooh.
And then I guess with season 2, based on the fans' feedback or how, I guess, much of an impact Smiley brought, I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
but come season 2, maybe they wanted to give Smiley a bigger part. So the fans gave the nickname Smiley, so that stuck. And when I was brought back for season 2, I was overjoyed.
Overjoyed. Well, that's a blessing, man. It's so good to hear and let you know that things like that is possible for all the aspiring actors. Just be yourself. Now, let me ask you this: in your personal life, did and the smile works both ways. Did you get like voted like best smile like in school, or did your smile ever creep somebody out like just a regular day?
Uh, well, I've always had this smile ever since I was a kid. So basically, the smile basically is just me. So
Yeah, you do, right?
yeah, and now I have freaked people out on and off camera.
Yeah.
But the difference is when we're not filming, it's like, okay, it's Jamie at school. But as soon as basically Smiley kicks in, it's okay, all right, breathe, relax. Okay, don't make eye contact.
Okay.
Actually, had a few people say it's like, okay, you're great. I just can't look at you right now.
Right, right now. Okay, cool.
With all the stuff on me and the grin, it's like, yeah, okay. It's like afterwards, after the day is done, I'll be able to look at you again in the eye. So
Right. Which were offset. So I want to ask you some questions about the actual show and about your role. And maybe we can discuss it a little bit because this one thing this show has brought is a lot of mystery, and all the internet detectives have been trying to figure out pretty much every minute of every episode. And so, from your perspective, being one of the creatures, right? Are they playing a game with the people?
without revealing too many spoilers, I can honestly say that ever since I remember one day on set, we were given a direction one time to walk slow and be creepy. So whenever I've seen, say, past villains on shows or TV movies, I'm just like, you know what? Because I found the best ones always had a bit of a devilish, intimidating grin too. So I'm just like, you know what? Why don't I try that and give it a shot? And sure enough, it worked.
It worked.
But from what I've seen, it almost seems like the creatures are kind of toying with them a little bit. And it makes it all the more exciting and suspenseful because sure, if they were to run fast, come out immediately like that, it's like, okay, sure, it's scary, but only for a minute. But the fact that they're slow or having a bit of fun makes it all the more mysterious and ominous.
And so another thing we've been trying to figure out is that do the creatures eat the people or do they just rip out their organs?
I think it's how hungry the creatures get, I guess. So
Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, Okay. All right. How is it working on episode 6 for you?
the entire experience being part of the Frumley and being on set has been amazing. Episode 6 has been incredible. For episode 6, I just want to say, get ready, pick a good spot, keep watching, and keep enjoying it. I certainly have been enjoying it, and I'm sure everyone who will keep tuning in, I'm sure it's going to be very exciting for everyone.
Thank you so much. So listen, it's great watching your career and watching you grow. I hope to see you in a lot of future movies and scenes. And congratulations on all your success. And I'll see you this week on the next episode of From. Take care, Jamie.
All right, thanks very much. You too.
Yeah, so that was the Smile Monster. Everybody really wants to make return. They want to see him come back, and I think that there's a chance. I mean, I think it's possible for anybody to come back, honestly, because I mean, they can just write them in, right? They can easily write them in. They can add them storyline. We This place really doesn't exist. These aren't real people. Like something magical can happen, right? And they could bring Smiley back, or they could bring back one of the people who've passed. They could bring them back. I mean, there's a lot of theories about, was Abby right? If you die in Fromville, will you wake up in the real world? And so now that we see in the season 2 finale Tabitha wake up in the real world, is it possible that there are other people might be there? Abby could be there, or somebody else who passed. So we don't know. But I've got a ton of other interviews that I'm just going to kind of go through my videos to sort of see if we have any other information. So this was when I interviewed
When you shop with
Scott McCord. He's the actor who plays Victor, and I think he did a really good job. I mean, he does a great job playing Victor, and I think we had a really good interview. So I'll just kind of go down the line. Hello, everybody. I am the movie guru, and I'm here today with the man who needs no introduction, Scott McCord, who plays Victor on From. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
This is great. Really excited to talk to you.
It is great.
Excited about season 2. And so, first question I want to ask is, Victor is a great character. I think one of the greatest characters we've seen in a long
Thank you.
time on television. How do you
Thank
prepare
you.
for a role like that?
Yes. It's it's a lot of preparation is what it is. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had the luxury of, and have the luxury, as actors do, when you have a great creation from a mind like John Griffin.
Mhm.
When I auditioned for the role, I wasn't given that much character description, but I was reading these scenes, from season 1, and I was going, "Wow, who is this guy?" And he talk, and all that the way Victor talks and his music, all that stuff was sort of coming to me just from the impression that I was getting from that creation, from John's writing, which was so amazing. Um, and as we never know episode to
Mhm.
episode what's going to happen. We have no idea what the arc of the season is going to be for our characters at all. So we have this kind of other luxury that's interesting, where, like, with each script, something new, some new aspect of the character, something comes through or shines through or is illuminated, in what's happening to them. That what I love about it is it just gets me to, come up with another form of
Yeah.
preparation for that particular episode. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Cool.
That's amazing. It really comes
Yeah.
good on the show. I
Thank
mean,
you.
we are so invested in Victor,
Yeah.
we are invested in his drawings, of course,
Yeah. Cool.
invested in his
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
story. And so I want to talk about one of the drawings, right? How come
Hmm.
Victor doesn't see the boy in white anymore?
You know what? That's a great question. And my response, unfortunately, is I don't know. Again, like, I don't
Oh,
know. That's not something that's
yeah.
yeah, where did we leave off? I guess it was at the end of season 1. I
Hmm.
mentioned to Tabitha that
Hmm.
the boy in white, told me to wait for her there.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you're
Told
right.
her
There's
he
been
he
no
was
mention
there.
of the boy in white since. You're
Yeah.
right.
With Victor anyway.
Yeah.
And because the reason why I asked that is because
Yeah.
I try to come up with theories, and I try to mediate the Reddit and the Facebook community, and we
Oh,
got
yeah. Yeah.
questions
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
because we say if Victor was the first person to see a boy in white,
Mhm.
how come he didn't
Mhm.
get a chance to solve the quest, right? Which we
Yeah.
believe it is,
Yeah.
but we got some other things that came to light in season 2, and one of them
Mhm.
was we found out about Christopher, right? The guy in the picture.
Yeah.
And the number one question, do you know what the number one question is?
No idea.
Is that Victor's father?
Oh my God. That's one of the questions?
Yeah. Is Christopher Victor's
Wow.
father?
I've never thought about that. That's interesting because he doesn't refer to him in that way.
Yeah.
But that's an interest. That's an awesome theory, right? Victor's father. Um, well, it's like it's that thing of I know what I know. In terms of what I told Jade in episode 5 of who Christopher was. But it's clear that Victor's also containing a lot of that because something really bad happened to Christopher, clearly, right? And then there was this traumatic event that followed. So I'm thinking we get another season. We have season 3.
Oh, you guys definitely will. 3 and 4.
I like that. That we'll definitely or hopefully get more light shed on that story with Christopher. That's a great theory, man. I'm glad you shared that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. His father.
And so also too, we've been trying to make a connection with the doll in gray, right? The doll in the gray suit.
Oh yeah.
Because Victor was freaked out when he saw that thing, and I believe that Victor saw it around the colony house in different places, and it seemingly looked like someone was putting it there. And then when he saw it in the cave, it came back to him like, wait, this thing is like possessed,
Yeah. Interesting. That's another great theory too. Yeah. I mean, it's clearly from his past. I think that's the thing, right? It seemed to me that a lot of those things that were down there in the caves that Tabitha and Victor were discovering seemed to be I don't want to say artifacts, but definitely stuff that had been taken over the years. I guess, and that was definitely from Victor's past, when he was a boy.
Okay, and so one of the last questions I want to ask is about your relationship with Donna, right? On the show, she seems very protective of Victor, especially in season 1. And the question is Victor and Donna more connected than we know?
Oh, hey, that's a great question. I like that one. I think that I like to think because like you said, it hasn't really been there. They haven't really had a lot of scenes together. Donna runs the show there at the Colony House. Victor's been there a long time. I see her as a sort of someone who just maybe say out of all those people can take Victor in a different way. She's a little more protective of him in that way. Keeps him safe in that room. I'm sure you feel the same way. I would certainly love to see them explore that relationship a little further, almost like a big sister, little brother thing. Or something.
Well, that was the point I was getting at because there were some, until we found out that Victor did have a sister, we did think that Donna might be his sister.
Oh yeah, another theory, another great theory. I'm loving these theories, man.
2 last quick questions, but before we go, do you think Victor will ever leave Fromville?
I think that this is. I mean, my feeling is, and Victor says it in episode 8. When he's alone with Tabitha, he says, "Listen, I don't think there is a way out." And I think that's. I don't think Victor thinks in those terms. I don't think he thinks about what life might be on the other side, or if there is a way out. And only I think because of the fact that he's seen so many people meet their demise trying to get out of there.
And the last question, what do you hope and wish for Victor?
Lots of love, man. You're right. I think he needs it more, more than anybody.
I think so too. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure watching you week to week on the show.
We're thanks,
extremely anticipating for the season finale. And thank you for what you bring to the character Victor and bring to the show.
Hey,
it was great talking to you. Take
Great
care. And we'll see you on the finale this Sunday.
That's right. We'll be there. All right.
Bye.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Man, so that was a great interview I did with the actor who plays Victor. His name is Scott McCord. And, he really, really, I feel like responded very well to the questions. I mean, looking back at it to see where Victor's character has gone, and especially that last question about will Victor ever leave Fromville? Because we know that Victor knows the way out, right? He said his mom went to the bottle tree and she said, this is the way to get to the tower to save the children. And so he knows that he can pretty much end the game. He could go to the bottle tree. He could free the children and get out of Fromville, go home. But he is home. So I believe Victor is not going to leave Fromville, doesn't want to leave.
And I also believe that there's other people that necessarily don't want to leave. And I don't really think I heard anybody talking about this. I don't think Boyd wants to leave, right? Because Boyd is more focused on firefighting. He's running here to do this, there to do that. He's never going to leave. And then also, believe it or not, I don't think Jim wants to leave, right? And there's other people who don't want to leave either. So the only person that wanted to leave Fromville is out of Fromville, and that was Tabitha. So of course I got a ton of other interviews. So let's see what Donna has to say. And I'm joined by hello everybody. I am the movie guru, and I'm joined by a very special guest today, Elizabeth Saunders, who plays everyone's favorite Donna. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. I hate to tell you, Boyd is right behind you.
Oh, well, if he's there, I'll know I'm safe.
Looks pretty mad.
We have been enjoying season 2.
Great, thank you.
And we've been enjoying you as Donna, keeping the colony house together.
Thank you.
But the question I wanted to ask, did Donna see it coming with Randall? Because she played it so cool, right? Like they had a couple of run-ins that day, and she seemed to just sort of let him kind of take her.
Yeah. I think she didn't see it coming, but I think also the way it was written, Donna is in a vulnerable state. Like I think another day he would have got a fuck off no, or
Yeah.
we're doing it on my turf.
Mm-hmm.
She would have been like, come into Colony House and we'll talk. But I
Yeah.
think he caught her in a weak moment, and he used it to his benefit. I think he just thought he could win, but he
Yeah.
only
He was overconfident. He was hyped up from what we know. Jim told him, put all these ideas in his powder keg head, right? He was ready to blow. And there's been a couple of theories, and I don't know if you've heard of them.
probably. But I want to hear.
And so some of the theories is that Donna is the witch.
Okay, I've heard the witch, but I don't know what that means. Like I know.
So you remember, so Elgin was in the bathtub.
Oh yeah.
And he's, relaxing. He's, following what
Yeah.
Julie said. He's going down, and then this hand pushes him down.
Right.
And then from us as the viewers, the camera, we see this, it looks like a witch. That's what everyone was described as: long hair, this triple, long, slender face. But she did have a kimono on, right?
Yeah.
But most of the people assumed that was the witch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I'd heard this referral to Dawnette and the witch, but I didn't know what it meant. And then I knew about her, of course. I do not believe I am her.
Connection came from people theorized it could have been somebody in the house, right? And
Yeah, I remember seeing that people had speculated it was Fatima.
Yeah.
Or Catalina, I think.
And then the other clue, right, that kind of confirmed it for a lot of people that you were the witch is the way you were tied to the tree.
Mm-hmm.
You were tied like it was people were referencing it with the Salem witch trials.
Oh, right. Yeah. I hadn't heard that part. Yeah. Well, if that's in John's head, it's unknown to me.
Also on the show, trying to figure out what the order of arrival was, right? And we know that Donna was there a little bit before Boyd, and maybe around the same time as Father Kotri. Do you know exactly when Donna got there or where she might have been coming from?
Yeah, she was with her sister on a hunting trip. She was hunting near her. She wasn't far from her home. In terms of my recollection, I think she's there. I know she's there around the time of Kotri, but I can't remember if she was before or after.
And so that was another theory that most people were saying, that if Donna was the first person there, she could have pretty much told everybody whatever story, she wanted. Because a lot of people are thinking that it was magic and someone has to be in the town in on it.
Yeah. No, I don't think that is the case, and B, I think there was enough people there, and there was stuff going down well
Okay.
before Donna.
Well before. Okay. Well, you answering these questions have brought great light to us internet fans. We love Donna. We
Oh,
love what she
thank you.
does at the Colony House, and we don't want anything to happen to her. And we want to keep seeing her into season 3, 4, and 5 if you guys go.
Me
So
too.
thank you for being Donna. Thank you for bringing her to life, and thank you for everything you bring to the show. We look forward to seeing you on the season finale.
Thank you so much, Evan. Yeah, I love doing playing her, and I love being part of the show. So thank you.
Okay, so that was the wonderful Elizabeth Saunders who plays Donna, as we all know, the leader of the Colony House. That was a great interview too. I feel like she cleared up a lot of things, and as far as just gave us the mind of the character and why some of those things was going on. And we're still trying to figure out who on the show is lying. I've been talking to people on Facebook about this, and people trying to match up timelines and trying to match up order of arrival, and it's kind of difficult because there's so many stories. And what I've come up with is that there's multiple people on the show lying, right? So for like put it like this, Donna could be lying, right? I think that Father Kotri could have been lying. I mean, whoever arrived in Farmville and didn't have at least two people confirm it, they could pretty much be making up their own story. I believe Fatima is not lying because there was two extra people who confirmed her story, right? Christy, people confirmed the story. So, you know, uh, so we have to see who's lying and who is the mole. So Linda Webb said, I wonder why there's a piece of that photograph torn off. Yes, that is a big question. We don't know why, but yes, you're right. That picture in the upper right hand corner was torn off. I mean, the only thing I can think of, and let me see if I can find it in the interview. I think I did put it up there. Let's see.
Yeah,
I
she was with.
believe that. Yeah, here it is. So I believe that if you look at that upper right hand corner, I mean, only thing that could be up there, it can't be a person, right? Because if it was a third person in that picture, it would have been closer to Donna's head. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been a watermark, right? It could have been like a logo. I don't believe. I mean, I think Donna's tough. I think she comes off tough, but I don't think she's like this hunter risk, right? So I mean, in reality, it could be she could have been an actor in the real world, right? Yeah, yeah. Well, sometimes the dates on the pictures are on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So I would have thought it would have been on the bottom, but it could have been a calendar, it could have been a date, it could have been something that was there that would have indicated either where they were or what they were doing, or if they were at some place that was legit. This could have been a photo prop, right? This could have been something fake, and that's what I kind of believe it might be with her, but we don't know. So but so let's see, I got some other interviews too. Let's see who else I got on here who I think did a good interview and maybe gave some information. Let's see. So we got Ellis, Randall. Let's do everybody's favorite. Let's do well no, actually let's go to the beginning. This is actually the first interview I did with the cast of From. I actually interviewed Tabitha and Jim together, and I think we had a pretty decent episode. Ooh, super fan to movies and TV.
Hi, Evan. How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Great.
So I just want to commend you guys on a great season 1. You guys have been bringing these characters to life, and this show is turned into my favorite show to watch on TV right now.
Oh, good. Glad you're liking it.
So I've been watching season 1 over and over again, trying to figure out what is going on. And so I have a few questions that I think you guys might like.
Mhm.
So if you guys were stranded on an island, right? What are 2 things you would bring from the show?
From the show?
From the show.
I bring my my transmitter and antenna and get that working.
Okay.
For one thing.
I think that's a great answer.
And some of that home cooked some of that home cooked food from
the diner.
From the diner. Blank on her name.
And what about you, Catalina?
I don't know.
Maybe
mean-
Jim's bracelet?
A bracelet?
Jim's bracelet.
No.
Yeah, remember that beautiful bracelet I gave you?
I need to survive. The bracelet is not going to help me to do anything. Maybe a hatchet. Maybe a hatchet to, like, cut wood and coconuts and all that stuff. Probably a
Yep.
hatchet.
Yeah, okay. I think that's a great answer, especially the radio. Music seems to be a big theme of the show, right? We love the intro song. We also love, the radio and the diner playing, key songs. And so just wanted to know, what are some of your favorite songs from the show?
Well, I really like that. I think it's the Pixies doing. Guys, the Pixies doing Leonard Cohen? That opening song is really
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, it really catches you and brings you in.
Yeah, yeah, and the score as well. There's really good. There's I guess there's a lot of different things. There's the Bob Dylan songs and definitely others I recognize from pop culture. But the actual score I think is effective and really well done. And a shout out to, I don't know the composer's name. Do you, Catalina?
No, they have great taste.
Yeah, they're good though, for sure. Yeah, learn their name. But yeah, thanks for pointing out the music, because sometimes, you ever watch a show where it's like the music is just awful, and
Mhm.
it's like they don't have any faith in the story and the acting, so they just layer music wall to wall for the entire scene and every single scene.
Mhm. And it seems a little out of place, but the music on the show really ties in the mood and the atmosphere. I think From has a great setting, and especially how it ties in with something that's eerie getting ready to happen, right? So talking a little bit about the creatures on the show, but not too much. Which creature is your favorite?
I mean, I don't know if you saw it on the first few episodes, but there's Smiley, this guy that just has these amazing features, and he just smiles, and he's like the creepiest smile ever, because he just needs to smile, and he doesn't need the whole prosthetic thing to be terrifying.
Mhm.
He's terrifying.
I don't have a favorite creature. I hate them all.
You hate them all. That's a great
Every
answer.
single one of them.
Yeah, but that's definitely true. The smiling monster has been great, and you guys have been great as well. And so, really quick, just one quick question for Eon before we go. Uh, your character Jim, is he a villain?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm sure a villain to some. Uh, is anybody ever really a villain? At least in their own mind.
Yeah, that's true. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. I'm looking forward to season 2. Take care. And that was actually the first interview I did with those guys. And at that time, watching season 1 when it was on Epics, I really believed that Jim was a bad guy, right? Like, I still blame him. I kind of blamed him for turning off the highway. When I watched that first episode, right, they were on a highway and he turns off, right, and something about that just sat wrong with me and made me really think that he knew where he was going and led them there. I mean, they were going to Yellowstone, and you really don't pull off. I mean, he didn't have a GPS. I mean, like, just a ton of red flags with him driving, right? And then it's kind of just seeing his character as the seasons went on. It just didn't sit right with me. And I feel like he knew some information when he was writing on the wall in the house, especially when Catalina or Tabitha asked him, what did he figure it out, when he was asking the questions about, the creatures, about how they got there. And he said the answer was 12. And that always stuck with me because it's been a reoccurring theme. 4 and 7 we've known is a reoccurring, but I believe there's also 12, right? There's 12 talismans, there's 12 people, there's 12 buildings. Like, there's a ton of stuff that goes on. So to me, he kind of knew the answer was 12. And it connects to all this. So I don't know, but that was a good interview. I tried to throw that question in about Jim. I threw that question in about the bracelet because I figured
it would come back later, and I kind of feel like it is starting to come back. They didn't remember what I was talking about, so that either means that it was. All right, let's see. What other episodes? What other interview do we? Let's check out this interview with Kenny, man. You know, Kenny's coming up on a hard couple of months. You know, he lost his dad, and you know, possibly could have another loss this season. So let's check in with good old Kenny.
You kind of throw paint on the wall and see what sticks. And this is one of the things that.
Hello, everybody. I am the movie guru, super fan to movie and TV, and today I'm here with a very special guest, Ricky He, better known as Kenny on the MGM show from.
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Great, great. First off, great job, you know, bringing your character to life. You know, you guys are definitely talented, and we can sense that watching the show. It really draws us in. Can you tell a little bit how you got involved with the show?
Yeah, you know, like I'm definitely still in the stage of my career where, you know, I'm auditioning a whole lot. So, you know, my agent will send me things and you kind of throw paint on the wall and see what sticks. And this is one of the things that's thankfully stuck. And yeah, the audition came through, did the self-tape, loved it, did the Zoom call back with Jack Bender, loved my experience talking to him, and then and it just kind of all worked out. And it doesn't always work out like that. So
that's true. Woo! Great. Great. You know, your character, and one thing you do, you bring good contrast to Boyd's character, right? I mean, you work with him, but it seems like you really keep him grounded with just solid, realistic advice, right? And when that power shift happened on the show, right? When Boyd was leaving and you were stepping up, right? How was it bringing that across the screen? Because we really felt that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Like, you know, it's like little things. Like, it's like little things. I think, you know, it was hard to resist the temptation to immediately jump into a position of power, because that's not realistic. Like, we don't just, you know, like when you get promoted, unless you've been working there for like a, you know, fucking decade or whatever, you know, like when you get promoted to a new position at work, and you don't just suddenly, oh, I'm the boss now. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of a transition, and I think that to resist the temptation to suddenly be like, yeah, now I'm the leader in town, like that was hard. So there's like little physical cues as an actor that, you know, like postural stuff, cadence, in terms of how I was speaking, stuff like that. Yeah. But on an emotional level, yeah, like filling in the shoes of someone that I really looked up to, you know, felt very real, because suddenly from going to having a lot of scenes with Harold to now episode one and two not having as many scenes as Harold, kind of stepping up to the plate on set. It was very relatable.
Great. Okay. So look, let's get into some theories real quick. Okay.
Okay.
Is this a simulation?
Bro, I wish I knew. Bro, I wish I knew.
You know, there's been hints. There's been hints. We've been getting at it, but we don't know. The other theory is Elizabeth Moy, who plays your mother on the show, right? She does a lot of the cooking. Where is she getting the food from?
Listen, I don't actually know either, but so as a fan, I'm like, yo, maybe the simulation theory makes sense. Maybe it's a game. Maybe the food just spawns. But yeah, out of thin air, like fucking, what's it, like Cooking Mama? Yeah. No, I think, you know what? I think that like we had crops right in town, and I think a big part of what had happened was a bunch of the crops got burned down because of the colony house attack in episode 7 of season 1, and we have like some livestock that like Boyd and the others have found in the woods, but we don't know where they come from. Yeah, we don't know where they come from.
Okay, that's great. Now that's a great answer. That's more than we've gotten. And listen, we are conversating a lot online. Facebook groups are buzzing, Reddit's buzzing, everything's buzzing, trying to figure out what's going on. And some other theories are, I want to say some words here, right? And I just want to know if they resonate with you. Anything about fae, fairies, Eiling, or revenant kind of resonate with you?
I've been really active on the Reddit too. Like I scroll through it, I read through it. I probably won't after next week because I'm nervous for the episodes to drop. But I'm pretty active on the Reddit. I like a lot of the fears I see. Again, I don't actually know the mystery. I know as much as you guys do. But every now and then I read one and I'm like, yo, that kind of makes sense. I kind of like that one.
Have you came across any? You said you like some. Just have you came across any that you're like, that is probably 90% or just still kind of far out there theories?
I think the simulation makes sense, but at the same time, it feels a little too on the nose. You know what I mean? Like, I personally hope it's not a simulation. Is it aliens? Like, if it's aliens, that could be dope, but also that could be really corny. Like, it's like on a very tightrope. So who knows?
So, pretty much last question, and I want to just say for your character, Kenny, right? You know, he kind of separated from the position with Boyd. Will he take the badge back up?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know if he'll ever take the badge back up. You know, there's a lot of emotional. It's very complex in that situation between him and Boyd. I don't see Kenny not helping out just because of the type of person that he is. I don't know if he'll ever put the badge back on. Though Jack Bender, one of our showrunners and our director, has constantly threatened to put me back in the pants.
Yeah. So, I wasn't gonna say anything about the pants, but we noticed the pants.
I think everybody knows. Yeah.
Well, look, Ricky, it's been a great. Thank you so much for talking to me. Everyone, we're here with Ricky, he better known as Kenny from MGM Plus show From. Appreciate you. Thank you for what you bring to the screen, and take care. Yeah, so that was another good interview. I mean, it's great to just hear the enthusiasm in new actors. You know what I'm saying? Kenny, how great is that? Pretty much first audition, first big show, and it's becoming this massive snowball, right? Where it started as this little show that was really supposed to be on YouTube. I don't know if a lot of people know that. The show was supposed to be on YouTube. Then it got sold to Epix, and then Epix like went under, and then it went to MGM, then it went to MGM Plus and all this stuff. And now look, it's on Amazon Prime. And so it's just like snowballing, and it's possibly on top 10 shows, right? Top 5 on some list. And after the big premiere on season 3, it could be pretty much top 1. So I said I got some surprises for you guys. So if you guys stick around, I'll play a couple more of these interviews, and then we can look at some of the picks I got. So let's see. Let's get to the next one. So who do you guys want to see on as far as interviews? I got Randall, I got Ellis, and I got Elgin, and I also have Sarah and Christy. So I'll kind of let you guys pick to see which interview you guys want me to do. Anybody in the chat? And also too, what's up, Christopher Lee? How's it going, man? Thanks for joining. What interview? You said Elgin or Sarah? Okay, you said Elgin first. I'll do Elgin.
Mornings.
Yeah, I thought this was a good episode too. This was at such a new time. I believe this came out, and I did this like a little bit before the season came out. And so I'm not sure when it was. I'm not sure if it was before the season or after the season, but I believe it was before the season came out. Sir?
So I didn't really know much about him. Hello, everybody. I'm the movie guru, and I'm here with Nathan Simmons, also known as Elgin, from the smash hit From on MGM. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, man. It's a pleasure to meet you, Evan.
Pleasure to meet you too. First off, amazing episode 1, the fan favorite. You definitely made a memorable entry into the show. I mean, who could forget that? And my first question is, what are some of your thoughts when you read that intro to your intro scene?
I first thing I was like is, yo, how are we gonna shoot this? And I was excited for it though. I was really excited especially because the first introduction, I was like, dang, how are we going to shoot this? How can I make it? How can I set it off properly? Because I knew how the first season ended, and I was like, okay, cool. I gotta really jump off the diving in here, just go for it, right? Yeah. But even the day was wild. The day we shot that was wild. It helped a lot. It was a hot bus. The bus was moving, so everything felt so like visceral. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, you were definitely sick with it, if you know what I mean. So, look, just a quick icebreaker question. I did some other From Cast interviews, and the question that I started with was, if you were on an island, or let's say, on an island by yourself, and you could
Yeah.
bring 3 items from the show From, right?
Yeah.
3 items. What would you bring?
Yep. I'm bringing down a shotgun.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring Boyd's pistol, and I bring a lunchbox, Victor's lunchbox, something to eat. Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's what I'm bringing.
little concealed and carry going on, right?
Yeah, yeah. Gotta be prepared.
Okay, all right, great. That's great, man. And so I was doing some of your background work and just looking into some of your history. You've been in a couple of things in Canada, I believe, Hustle and Heart and Studio Black. And
Yeah.
it looks like you're really into the craft. And so I really just wanted to talk about how you got involved with the show and some of your other works.
Oh yeah. So at the time I was in line to do a theater show when it came around. It was a big tour I was excited for. And a story that I really loved. And I was doing a workshop in Toronto, and I got the audition call right before I left. And we did the audition. And then when I went away to do the workshop, I got a call that I had it. So I had to change some things around. And I felt terrible for it because it was such a great play. But like I just knew from the audition, reading the size, just reading some of the stuff on Elgin, like that this is a role that I just wanted to get my teeth in, right? And I love acting. Like I love the craft. I love doing it, and yeah. So it's just perfect. Like yeah, and I've been and up to this point I've been working a lot. I've done a lot of theater. I'm in love with theater. I did some films. Had opportunity that I worked on a TV show called Washed to Black by Selwyn Hines, and Sterling K. Brown was in it, and those are amazing people. And it's funny enough, on that show, I was working like crew, and then I acted in it. And someone named Jeremy Dell, look him up. He's an amazing hair makeup stylist. He's amazing. He was like, "Listen, Nathan, you want the role, you got to manifest." And so I think that's where honestly that's how it came about. Like I manifested it truly from the heart, and it worked. Like yeah, and I'm just still shocked, but still yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. And so, when it comes to horror movies or horror TV shows, what are some that you like and some that you watch?
Oh, all right. One of my other favorites TV shows that are horror right now is the Yellow Jackets. I love Yellow Jackets. Me and my friends, are loving that. Of course, The Walking Dead. We had a falling out though when they killed off Glenn. We had a falling out, but The Walking Dead. And I look back, like I love the classics. Like one of my favorites is Jeepers Creepers. For some reason, that still gets to me.
Classic.
Yep. I still can't watch Chucky. I've been scarred. Still can't watch it. I can watch the Leprechaun though, but Chucky I can't. Still can't watch Chucky. But my most favorite horror of all time has to be Hereditary. That still is like yeah.
And I recently just went back and watched that, and that was very deep. So I definitely agree with that. And so I mean, looking at you here, I mean, you definitely have a lot of sense and style. I definitely like that shirt.
Thank you, man.
and the outfits on the show play a big role too. And a lot of people have been asking about the raven on your shirt. Can you say anything about that?
That's actually a drawing from Jack Bender, the director, who's also an amazing artist, and that's like a personal design that he put on the shirt. What does it mean? You know, honestly, I'm not even sure yet, but I feel like it may come up again in the future.
I think so.
Because I do notice with this show, the writers, the directors, the producers, everything they choose is with intention. Everything they do is with intention. They don't just throw things. They don't throw pass out the wall hoping it sticks. So, yeah.
It's been great talking to you and great getting to know you and your character Elgin. Thank you so much for what you bring to the screen. I appreciate talking to you, and I'll see you on next episode.
Yes, man. Thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure speaking to you too, Evan. For real, for real.
All right, take care. So that was Elgin. It was actually cool talking to him. I didn't know much about him. I mean, at that point, season 2, I believe, was just starting, and he was pretty much, in the trailers. We thought I didn't know what role he was having. I didn't really know his character, so I just, looked up the actor and tried to find, something that we might have in common for the conversation. It was pretty cool. He definitely is a thespian. Like he does a lot of plays. Everything about him is just play, like doing plays. So, but he really likes the craft, like you said, and so I kind of it comes across very well. He can get very deep on the show, and I believe he's definitely one person who's going to have a bigger role. And so we'll have to see, where his character goes and what's going on with him. So let's see, who else? They said Sarah. So let's see. Let's go to my interview with Sarah. This was actually cool. Like I said, I did a deep dive on Sarah. If you guys want to check that out on my page, on my breakdowns section, and I mean, I feel like there's a lot about Sarah's character. Hello, movie fans. I am the movie guru, Super G to movie and TV, and today we have the person that everybody is wanting to hear from, Avery Conrad, better known as Sarah from the show From on MGM Plus. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So listen, Avery, we have a lot to talk about with your character, Sarah. Fans online have been starting a Where's Sarah campaign. So the first thing I want to say is where do you think your character is?
I mean, there's so many possibilities. Did she go through the tree? Did she not go through the tree? She could be in the forest. She could have gone through the tree. Who knows where she would end up? I just feel like the possibilities are endless, and you have to tune in to find out.
Exactly. And listen, we've been tuned in. Your character has done some pretty interesting things, right? And so we have to ask the question, right? What is up with Sarah? Is she crazy? Are these voices real? What do you think?
She's not crazy. I think the voices are real, and that's kind of been proven in season 1 when she's in the forest with Boyd and all those things happen, and she's getting clues and they're seeing things and she's hearing things, and I think that she definitely can help people out, but gets caught in the wrong situations and gives in to things that aren't, that are bad.
Exactly. They're very bad, very bad. Now, I do see that too with the show, right? That everybody could help each other, but it's always like they just kind of bump heads, right? They either do something that they shouldn't because it's tense, right? Everybody's running around scared, right? Crazy things are happening. And one thing that happened was Sarah has something magically appear on her arm, right? It said, kill the boy, right? In the diner. And so one question is, how did nobody else see that?
Yeah, I think, well, partly she was alone, kind of in the corner when it happened. I think, and then when she looked, it was also gone. Like it appeared and then it disappeared, which I think was making her question what was going on as well. But again, I think that's just part of one of the many mysteries of the show.
Many mysteries. Okay. And the last theory that just came up about Sarah, right, was that before the cut manifested on her arms and when the letters kind of formed, Was that the same worms that Boy had?
I don't think so, because mine goes away and you never see it again.
And so I watched the behind the scenes episode where one of the directors was saying that each character will face their own demons, right?
Mhm.
And with that manifesting on Sarah's arm,
Yeah.
do you think Sarah had some sort of history of like sort of cutting herself? Is that why it kind of manifested in a cut kind of way?
I mean, I think she's definitely struggled with mental health, and I'm not going to say specifically what it is. I mean, that's a theory. But I don't really know, but she's definitely, everyone is battling a lot of demons on this show, and again, they all manifest in different ways and see things that aren't really there.
Yeah. Literally fighting demons, right?
Yeah.
Right. And
Internally.
so they had a campaign where they sort of put everybody's location out, and your character Sarah, I believe, was leaving PA and going to Boston, right,
Mhm.
where she was last seen. And so other people came from Texas, California, and Florida. But with the lighthouse, right, we must say that it has to be by some sort of water, right? So do you think that you guys they might be by Boston somewhere?
I don't know, just because everybody's from so like vastly different parts of the country. I think the place is really unknown. Yeah, just because if more people were maybe closer like to it as she was,
Yeah.
maybe, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was some great clarification we got from an amazing character. You've been doing a great job on the show. So thank you for what you bring to the screen, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too.
Take care.
You. Bye.
So yeah, so that was the interview with Sarah. Man, I think that was a big key that she gave away during that interview where she was pretty much saying that Sarah has some mental health, but she won't specifically say. I mean, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what she meant by that. Was it schizophrenia? You know, what else? Like she's too young for it, dementia, but it could be some type of early onset, the degenerative mind disease. It could have been a couple of things. So I really was trying to figure that out after she said that, because apparently they told her what is the matter with Sarah. Like we all could tell she has a problem. Sarah has a real problem. But yeah, Sarah's cool though. Let me see. Yeah, so this is part 2.
Looking to
So I got the
say
request
big on
to play the Tien Chen interview again. So I'll play that one. And I said if you guys want to watch part 2, now part 2, I mean, part 2 doesn't come out until Sunday. But if you guys want me to play earlier, just say yes in the chat, and I'll play early.
But things are really hard than you see. Like a dream,
It was an ambush.
how many did you save?
just
And you lost.
So the only way we go home.
How's everybody doing? My name is the Movie Guru, and today we are blessed to have a very, very special guest on the Movie Guru show. Please help me welcome Elizabeth Moy.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, it is great to talk to you. You are probably the last cast member I have to talk to on my list, right? Of my favorite characters on the show that I just wanted to speak to and talk about. I put some pictures here behind me of what I thought were some of my favorite moments of your character. It just really just developed into this person that you watch every week, and you're like, the person just gets more and more interesting and has more and more of a bigger role. So can you talk a little bit about just your experience in playing Tien Chen?
I love Ten Chan, and I, keep telling John, the writer, even though he didn't know me when he wrote Ten Chan, I feel like he's writing my life. And
Yeah.
there's so much about Ten Chan that is either my part of my life, or I've seen it, or I experience it, or, it's part of my parents' life. So it's amazing that I get to be able to bring her to life. And I'm just so fortunate, and I'm so grateful for all of you and all the few viewers to support and to be connected with Ten Chan. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. You are that character, and that character is you. And then also, I don't know if you know, you're also all our moms too, right? I mean, the comfort that you give, just on screen, we can really feel that, when you come through, just the little things that you do or the way you say things. So it's amazing to watch you. But I do have one question though. How are you cooking all that food? Right? Pancakes.
Isn't that amazing? That's why I spend so much time in the diner, right? So and then, she just so multitask.
Yeah.
Right? She can do a lot of stuff, and then she can still go out and have fun and play. And she's my model.
Yeah. I mean, we laugh and joke about just Tien pulling out the pancakes, and just making all the food. I don't know. You probably seen a couple memes out there just about Tien's kitchen, and it has definitely been interesting to see what you were going to bring out next. And I always point out this picture here behind me where they had, but you gotta make do it from Bill, right? And we love the ingenuity. And we love the ingenuity in front of the diner and then behind the diner, because what the fans on YouTube have come up with is that Tien is one of the most important characters on the show. Some of the biggest revelations came from the diner, right? I mean, from the symbol, right? From things going on with Sarah, from you showing the book to Jade, right? And so, what was one of your favorite moments from either season 1 or season 2?
Oh, you know what? I have so many moments that I love and I like. It's so hard to pick just one. But I would have top 3 would be the scene where I told Jay not to complain. That's one of my top.
He hasn't complained since then. You know that, right?
I know. It's just, he's like a child. He wants to, see how far he can push. And Ten Chan is just, this is it, right? And you can't cross that. And so I think he gets it. And so him and Ten Chan are very much good for each other.
Yeah.
And then there's another scene that it's heavier. It's probably the one I told Sarah how she took things away from me and still be able to, because that scene it's portray two opposite ends, like Tin Chan has deep love for her, but also there's so much pain that she created that just there's no meeting point anymore. So that makes that relationship very interesting. And I think I must have to say another one that I really like is the one with Harold, when he was trying to explain to me why he kept the secret about Sarah from me. So even though I don't think I have any dialogue in that scene, but there's a lot of emotion that went on, and I just love that interaction with Harold.
Yeah, those were definitely some top tier scenes, and I think that's one thing that the fans have really gravitated to, just those moments, right? Like you said, there wasn't much dialogue, but we could feel it, we could see it, and it was just like, we felt it coming from the chemistry that you guys have on the cast and on screen. So yeah, that's great. And so we do a lot of theorizing as well on my channel, right? And there's been some theories about you too. I don't know what about your character, that she's that she sometimes might know just a little bit more than she puts on, right? Like you said, you said some things with Jade. I mean, she literally flicked the light bulb on, right? And that changed the direction of the entire town, right?
Mhm.
Whether the diner is open, and I'm sure what's on the menu can change everybody's mood, right? And
Mhm.
so just how is it? How does it feel? And what type of preparation do you have to go into, playing that type of role that has so much, I guess, influence?
Um, that's a good question. I think I approach all my scenes very, shall I say, thoroughly. I'm actually an overthinker, and pretty much, a lot of my scenes, I prep to the T, and but what I learned on set is, even though I prepare all the scene to the T, and with the I dotted and stuff, but I still have to be open to see
Mhm.
what the director wants, and to see what the direction what direction the notes will be.
Mhm.
This is the GMC Sierra.
So I've learned that, and it's I think in all the scenes there's either we physically, I have to prep to see where everything is, and then also emotionally I have to prep all my emotion to cover all my grounds, and so that on set, when I'm on the set, and when the things are, because then things are placed differently, right,
Mhm.
from my practice. So I just have to, see where everything is, and have it in my mind. And there's one scene, I know that this is not the scene that you were talking about, but there's one scene where I think Sarah already disappeared. He already killed off people, and she disappeared, and I was in the diner with, I don't remember which one now, with some of Kenny, and maybe with some of the kids. And I was folding her
Mhm.
apron. And I remember in my preparation, I already know that, there's a certain way that Tin Chen would fold. And so once I get on set, I make sure that I do that repeatedly before I shoot the scene, that
Mm.
it's in my body, it's in my blood, it's in my vein, how I do certain things. Because in real life, I'm a OCD. I truly am OCD. There's room for everything, and there's a way to fold things, right? And so I just have to make sure I go through all that before we shoot.
Tien Chin, who plays, Elizabeth Moy, who plays Tien Chin. And yeah, I mean, it was great to be able to speak to her, especially this week. And so I did do another interview, a part two. I kind of split it up, and that is premiering this Sunday after the premiere from. So you guys can check that out. And I asked, just put in the chat if you guys want to see a early teaser of the second part of episode, or if not, you guys can wait till Sunday. But I did say I would play we'll show you guys some of the unreleased photos. So if you guys ready, here we go. So check this out. I don't really know much about
these, but we can sort of figure them out together. This I thought. Well, we watched the trailer, the 2 minute 25-second trailer that came out for From, and I knew that they were going to pick up with Tabitha waking up in the hospital. She has to wake up in the hospital. I mean, it was too much of a cliffhanger. So yeah, this is pretty much her waking up in the hospital, and I believe we've seen this, right? Her talking to the doctor, and I believe that her looking out the window. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of people saying that the reflection of Tabitha in the window is not her. It's her, y'all. It's her, right? So the only thing we don't know is what I believe is we don't know what year it is, right? We don't know what year that she is in. Now, looking at the screen, the computer screen, and that looks to be Windows 95. So it looks like it's at least 1995. I kind of was thinking it might be 1978 because there was some things, it was a reoccurring theme about 1978 that I saw, from the writing on the steps and the tower to some of the vehicles to when Victor first got there. So I was trying to figure out how she would meet Victor's father, right? Because, but we don't know what year she's in. There's no clocks, there's no TV, like you don't see nobody with a watch on. Like, it's kind of weird. So I told y'all, so Tabitha's out of there, bro. She's not sticking around. I believe whatever she's doing, she's escaping the hospital. But the reason why I wanted to point this out is because, do y'all see the number on the elevator? It says 12, right? And remember, I told you guys earlier, if you guys remember, when Tabitha and Jim were writing on the house wall and they were trying to figure out what was going on, Tabitha was just joking, was like, "Yo, did you figure it out?" And he said, "Yeah, it's 12." And so I've been paying attention to the number 12, and I just think it's a coincidence that she's on the 12th floor, and also that there's 12 buildings, 12 talismans, 12 people. Like, it just keeps going. Yeah, so yeah, that definitely, that's the only sign. That's the only time indicator we can tell of what time she might be in. There's no clocks, there's no TVs, right? There's no, like, nothing. Like, there's no clothes, like fashionable clothes that we can tell. Like, we just can't tell. So she's escaping the hospital, and then, oh, what? So look, Jim and Kenny go to the village. I mean, it looks like the village was empty. So everybody was trying to say, like, what the village, what was going on in the village is not, and it's kind of lackluster. There's nothing going on in the village, right? The village is ransacked. The village looks bad. It's a dilapidated village. But I could tell in the picture, because the smokestacks where the houses were, there was kind of damaged and there was no smoke coming out. And then these huts are kind of tiny. Like, look at this. Like, you kind of have to lean over to get into the door. Like, I think that's another sign too that people really have not been talking about. I think these were like storage houses. These were not living houses. You get what I'm saying? Because look how he would have to. You have to bend your head to get into the door, and then I believe, like, you can't even stand up in there. I mean, he's pretty much touching the roof, right? So most doorways, I believe, are 7 feet, and so that has to be like a 4 foot doorway, or a 5 foot doorway. So it's really, really small. And so I try to, there's more totems as they walk into the village. You can see Kenny still got his gun out, and there's some other random farming equipment, or horse equipment, looks to be like in the bushes. But there's really nothing else. Like, there's nothing written on the buildings. There's nothing written on the doors. There's nothing hanging. They don't really find. So we'll have to see what happens. Man, so everybody was wondering, like, what? How does Tabitha find Victor's house? You know what I'm saying? And so it looks like she opens the lunchbox and starts either eating this stuff, because remember, Victor packed her a lunch. So either she's eating the food, or somehow she opens up the lunchbox and looks at the bottom, and it's Victor's address. And so that's how she finds, from what we believe, is Victor's house. So we got Elgin. Elgin apparently sees the Banshee kimono priestess again, or whatever this woman is, but apparently she's tormenting Elgin to the max, right? I mean, this guy can't even get a second of sleep because every time he closes his eyes, she appears. And it looks like she's following him, if you know what I mean. She looks like she's following him. Yeah, so I believe that it's somebody in the colony house because I believe they have a talisman up, right? So if the door's closed, you can't get in. And if you're in and the talisman's up, you can't get out. So that's why I believe uh it has to be it. So that's why I believe it has to be somebody in the colony house. Everybody's thinking Tabitha. No, I mean not Tabitha, but Fatima. We have not seen um we have not seen Fatima and this priestess appear in the same room. So it could still be her. Yeah, sorry. I was trying to read the comments and talk, but yeah, this was a good point out right there. Victor's the address on the house 1597. That is good. I don't think that's one of the dates from the stairs in the lighthouse, but that somebody else on Facebook was pointing out that that's a Fibonacci sequence, right? So it could possibly mean a circle. So her seeing the house means that she'll go back to where she came or go back. So look, man. So here we see a cell phone, right? So Tabitha uses a cell phone. Who did she call? Who did she call? We don't know. Who could she call, right? I mean, we know that Jim got a phone call, right? We know that we see this picture of her on the phone. Who did she call? Could she have been the one that called Jim? Right? We see a picture of her on the phone. We know that the phone rung for Jim. So yeah, it could be that she's the one who called. Oh, come on, betrayed king, chill out, chill out. So PM said that's an iPhone, but which one? I mean, it's definitely not iPhone 1. It's definitely not the 2006 iPhone, 2005 iPhone. That's definitely got to be like a 14, 13, 12, it is, so could be. So maybe it would have to be 2010 or maybe 2015. I don't know. We don't know. So I thought that was interesting to see that Tabitha actually made a phone call. Oh, look who it is. It's Tien Chen at the diner. So wow, what does this mean? What does it mean? So it looks like this, but this looks like before Kenny and Jim went away. So I mean, so it's still we don't know. We don't know what can happen still, but it looks like Tien's still alive and well. Now, whoa, what's going on, Victor? Victor with the blammer. Victor, man, look. Victor they need to take all guns from Victor. I believe they took Victor's gun before, and I believe he got another one. Like, man, guns must be cheap in this town. Let me tell you. But yeah, Victor, I don't know who he's pointing a gun at. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of used to Victor having a gun at this point. I'm more surprised about the fire in the background. I mean, they got a full-on barrel fire, right? And we want them to use that fire for self-defense so much, right? And we don't never get a chance to see that. We don't never get a chance to see them use the fire on the creatures. I feel like it would greatly balance, you know, this one-sided game that they're playing if they would just use fire, right? Like a moat, a trench, or even Molotovs. And my theory from the trailer was that but Randall ends up trying to use the Molotov because now they apparently have fire in season 3 and he burns himself up. But listen, look at Victor's eyes right there, man. I think somebody gets shot. I think it's a war going on. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's a war. We know they're low on food. We know they're low on resources. I feel like they are having a war, and I think that somebody tried to steal his peaches, man, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not with it," and he's getting ready to shoot somebody. I don't know who though. And then wow, look at this. Man.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is it over? Is it over for? What do you guys think? Hey, make sure you guys get likes and subscribe. You know, this is exclusive stuff, you know. So yeah, man. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on with season 3. I mean, this is just the beginning. All right. We don't know what's gonna happen. But all we know is that Tabitha wakes up in the hospital. And that's where it started. So look, I'm trying to put together a schedule, right, of doing some live streams. This is Thursday, and I'm so happy you guys decided to join me on this Thursday. You know, I'm gonna do a live stream tomorrow as well. But tomorrow, what I'll probably do is I'll go over more theories and stuff like that. And so I'll go over some of my early theory videos, and we can compare it to some of the photos and compare to some of the other theories that's out now. So I'm gonna go back over like a ton of my videos. I got a ton of them on my channel that I really haven't watched in a long, long time. So I'll probably, I mean, like I said, I'll go over. We were talking about the pentagram. I'll probably go over this one, the pentagram. I'll go over the monsters that I believe that it is. I go over what are the creatures, how the fae, the slaw, and all those other stuff. I'll talk about some of the diner clues that I found from the past. I'll talk about, you know, comparison to Wayward Pines. I'll talk about the lighthouse, and then I'll go into some of my character breakdowns too. You know, my character breakdowns. I went over Sarah. Who is Sarah? I broke down Jim. I talked about who is Kenny's dad. I went over the jukebox and is it evil? I talked about the clocks, and this is where I came up with the 12 hours, 12 marks, 12 months, 12 buildings, 12 talismans, 12 characters. Yeah, man. Somebody said my mind is blown. I don't even know where my theory is at now. I have to rewatch. And somebody said, what were they even doing in the barn? Don't the larger animals have a pen by the post office? I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let's see. And then what else? Oh, so I talked about the bell. This is another theory I had. I thought when it comes to the bell, I thought for a second, like, we know that there's possible hypnotism going on, and that what everything we see might not be what it really is. And what if when Boyd rings that bell, activates something in the town? So it would end up being a cool video. You know, I definitely found like I had some good points, so we can go over that. And I'm trying to think what other videos I had on here. A ton of videos. So yeah, so tomorrow, so that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna go over those theory videos. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for checking in. It's been about 2 hours just going over some of the interviews that I really appreciated being able to do and have the time to do with the actors. I think it brings another element to the show, getting to see them in their normal atmosphere. And so yeah, so thank you guys for joining the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, so I'm gonna try to start a little bit earlier. So make sure you guys subscribe and like, so that way you guys will be notified when I get on. All right. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys with all my heart, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.